Hello again from Scouse Farm. On the threshold of my mini farm. What I want to show you today is this the same day I filmed the park video, and what you'll see now is another example of free resources that you can get. I spoke to one of the council-y people or parks person who was cutting some trees up, and I asked if I could take some wood chip, and if it's in a spot halfway through the park I just pick it up anyway, because they get left where the trees fall down. They just chop them up, chip them and leave them where they are. But this was like an actual pile that looked like it'd been put there for a purpose. So I did ask permission, and he said yeah, they're just using it to go over some of the wood chip paths, but there's more than enough to take. So I went round in the car, and well, I've got 2 buckets there, and you'll see this is all fresh wood chip. It is absolutely gorgeous, and you can use this in the compost as a brown material. So remember from previous videos, you've got brown and green being literally things that are green, which are high in nitrogen, but also things like pony manure, any sort of manure that's classed as a green, and like coffee grounds, tea leaves, things like that, which are, yes, they're brown in color, but they're classed as a green because they're very high in nitrogen. And the browns are very high in carbon, which is what the wood chip is. And you can see now I've got really wet wood chip there because it's recent, so it's quite wet. And what I'm going to do with it, I don't need it for the compost because I've got a good balance in the compost. I will put some in, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to top up this wood chip area here around this acer tree and further up to the top of the pond to where that little stick is there, you can see. So that every year I try and get some around late autumn when the trees start blowing down, and there's a lot of it about in the park. And you can see like this is still quite heavily wood chipped, so to speak, but this is the 2nd or 3rd application, because if you leave it in time it just rots down and becomes soil, so you can't even see the wood chip any longer. And that's started to happen here. You can see loads of gaps where the old wood chip has disappeared now. It's been consumed and rotted down into the soil, and it's been eaten by the microbes and the bacteria and used to create fungus and everything else. And the big bits that you see are just the sticks that I just chop up when the cherry tree blows bits of leaves and sticks and twigs off, because they always land here or in the pond, so I have to protect the old fishies. And I just snap them up and throw them down, because it helps when you're walking on it so you don't get muddy feet when you come out here to fill up the compost bin, which is that big one there. And while we're on the subject of compost, this is the now active bin, and this has had all of the pony manure and grass clippings, leaves, everything else, and look already how much it's rotted down. And I just mix it up a bit with this garden fork that I'm about to show you now, to air it, to get some air in there and help it decompose quicker. You just throw the garden fork in, and you won't be able to see very well because I'm only going to do it with one hand, but just turning it, getting some air in, and that allows more of the surface area of the compost to be exposed to air and bacteria, and that helps rot it down much quicker, which is beautiful. And it's very addictive. When you get in there, it's like it really is a good workout. You can stay there for about 10 minutes just mixing up the compost in the bucket. I'll give you a closer look there. So it doesn't look much now, but that is rotted down quite a lot already, because this is a new heap. As you know from previous videos, I emptied it like less than a month ago and put it all in buckets, and that's been spread in the back garden on some new beds over there, but that will be rotted down in no time. And before I do throw the wood chip down, I'll just show you the heap that I've stopped now. So yesterday I swept up some leaves and added some leaves to this, and I've just placed them on the top in a wedge formation there, and everything below them leaves is actually quite decomposed now. But this compost contains much more volume than the other one, so it really rots down quick, and you need to keep adding to it. But right now I'm going to stop adding to this one. I'm just going to leave it for about 6 months or so, and then that will be actually perfect and ready to go. And let's have a little look at the fish. And the problem I've got with this pond, well, not a problem, but just a bit of a pain, is this is deciduous, so it drops its leaves in autumn, and they're tiny little leaves, and they always fall in the pond. And I've just spent about 10 minutes scooping them out with my hand. And then you've got Big Bertha here that you're about to see. So this cherry tree, that drops all its leaves in there as well, and it's huge. But that was what I was sweeping up yesterday. Even though it was windy, there was so many of those leaves on the path outside. I had to sweep them up because it's a busy road and people are walking up and down outside here, like with kids in prams and things. So all of this was just like an ice rink with all wet leaves. So I have to scoop them all up, bring them in, put them in the compost, and the rest of them I just keep as like a leaf mulch to go over some container plants in the winter to keep the frost off them. And inside that upturned bucket there, that's just full of those leaves, tightly packed, so they're going to rot down within there and become a good leaf mulch. So if I ever need leaves or I want some carbon to add to a compost over winter, I just go in there, grab a few leaves out, and that helps break up the structure of the compost heap. So if I'm putting a lot of kitchen scraps in, which are mainly green nitrogen scraps, I'll need to mix that up with brown, and usually I'll use cardboard boxes packaging, but if you've got leaves, they're natural, get them in there too. Let's see if the fish will come out to say hello now that I've cleaned the pond for them. I've got the food out here, some goldfish flakes. Again, a bit difficult with one hand, but we'll make it work. Usually they're quite friendly now. They usually, if I do a little tap here, sometimes they pop their heads up. And so we'll get some of these flakes in and see if we get some visitors. Get them in there. There we go, there's movement. There's Jaws now. Gone back under, made me out to be a liar. There he is. He might pop up to the surface. There he is. Definitely seen him there, haven't you? Right, that's the big one. I did lose one, like one died, but there's 4 left in there. Two of those multicoloured shabukins and 2 actual goldfish. Right, well, I'm going to get on with the composting now. So, and there's some more seeds, but the birds obviously are not hungry today. So I'm just going to compost a few things, and then I'm going to spread loads of the wood chip on these paths and get it nice and covered so it's not muddy in winter when the rain's happening all the time. So thank you very much for watching. Please give the video a like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And Scouse Farm, we'll see you all again soon.